What's up, Chaos Nation? Big Rob here, coming to you from the Valley of the Sun. We're at a balmy 76 degrees, but we're upright. Happy to be here. Honored to bring you this video. And man, I gotta tell you, it's been one hell of a summer, one hell of a fall, if you will, and right into election season. Some of you guys may have noticed that on my social media pages, taking a step back from promoting supplementation and hitting the gym to standing by my man Donald J. Trump, President-elect, that is. You know, the guy took a bullet and went strong. I knew that day something was different. That'd be July 13th. That's what changed for me. You may have a different opinion of that. You may not care about it. But for me, it was kind of like the JFK assassination went wrong. So imagine yourself on November 22nd of 1963 and witnessing John F. Kennedy be shot, but he makes it. So imagine that story being totally different than it is. What would the course of history be? Just if you're a history buff or maybe you know about some things, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say that. How much different would the world be? Would there be a Vietnam? Would there be the things that are in history? Or would things be totally different? Those are some of the questions you have to ask yourself, because we do know for a fact that for right now, if Donald Trump was not elected, we can almost guarantee another war on another land with, American U.S. troops' blood shed once again. The military-industrial complex loves it. That's what happens. And when we go to war, a lot of people make money. I'll leave it at that. You do your research, come up with your own answers. But that's where I've been for the past few months, is really just going hard in the paint. And I believe I did make a difference. A lot of folks have hit me up, and I've just seen the numbers. Of course, social media, being what it is, throttled me back in many occasions. But there was a time period where we were hitting hundreds of thousands of people. And so if I changed at least one person's life, I'm happy I did that, and I'm sure I did. So for me, putting that time and energy into that endeavor, seeing President Trump be reelected, then I did my part for humanity. That's my opinion. You might have a different opinion on things, and that's okay. I've always said we can agree to disagree. Never really wanted to make anything super political, but I always will stand my ground for what I think is right. And that's something I had to do. I've always kept my ear to the ground of the fitness community. You always got to tune in for a good laugh once in a while. And nothing fails, man. I tune in this past week and see John Bravo going at it with Wes Watson and, Big Boy. And, like I said, once before, maybe 100 times before, guys, there's not all that kind of money in fitness and supplementation anymore. There once was when the economy was booming, but I'm telling you guys, when you look at Pitbull, that put out a comment on one of the YouTubers' pages where he said, he got paid a certain amount per month. It's really not that kind of money, and I mean, he was Big Boy's right-hand man. I believe it was something like $250 a month and $500, and then finally like $750. I'm being honest with you guys. That was at the height of Strength Cartel. That's when they were making their money, and he was getting paid that kind of money, okay? So if he's getting that kind of money, let's just say Big Boy doubled that. That's about what Big Boy was making. That's what you can pretty much expect to have happened at the peak. Now that, of course, the dust has settled, time has gone on. It's been 7-8 years since everybody's gotten a little older, a little different. Body's changing, things changing. that money's not that same money. And people aren't doing the same things they were doing 8 years ago. You can look around at the gym. It's totally changed. The dynamic, the type of people that go to the gym. They're not musclehead gearheads. They're just average, everyday people trying to stay healthy, not really getting in there and, wanting to compete. So a lot of things are really kind of, shriveling up, if you will. A lot of things are really just kind of falling by the wayside. People aren't doing certain things. People's wallets are shriveling up. People don't have that kind of money to spend on certain things. And I'm going to tell you, before they buy a BCA, they're going to buy chicken. They're going to buy ground beef. If you haven't looked around, I saw the other day, no joke, and it's probably cheap where I'm at, as far as some things are concerned. But 3 pounds of, I think it was 96% lean ground beef, $25. You try and buy a pack of steaks. Some people can't afford it. You're talking 2 steaks, decently cut thick, maybe an inch thick, just enough for the grill. You're talking $30, $40. People before they're going to go and buy $36 of, a glutamine supplement for themselves, they got to buy that pack of ground beef for $25 and maybe a loaf of bread and make it last, or a couple pounds of rice and make it work. Whatever it takes, people are going to have to do it. So when you see the Wes Watsons of the world trying to get over on people, doing his thing, doing what they do, I've always said, karma does its thing. It's best to let what goes around comes around, do its thing. I don't need to sit there and bang on somebody and wish them ill will. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen, man. If you're doing dirty work on other people, it's going to come around. It'll hit you 3 times as hard. It's happened to me. Sure, it's happened to you. I've been on both sides of that spectrum, and it ain't no fun when it's your turn to catch that karma. And that's the same thing with Cali Muscle. He's gravitating towards that side because, honestly, it's like crabs in a barrel right now. Everyone's trying to just find their way to get out of that barrel to survive. So they're clinging to anything they can cling to make a buck. And these guys are used to that. That's what they've been doing for a long time. They've got overhead. They've got, families. They've got these worldly possessions that they have, and they got to save face. They got to keep up with the Joneses. And that sucks. So when you do that, you've already seen it with the celebrities that tried to help out Kamala Harris. You can pay them all the money in the world. People aren't paying attention to that because they don't relate to it. So all I can say to that is you got to understand, do you really want to sell yourself for that reason? Or are you going to stay in a position where you're just going to do the right thing as much as possible and hopefully come out, on the better end of things? Because once you sell out, man, it's over. So, those sense of me sitting there, picking sides or jumping down this or that, I just say you do what you got to do and hopefully you make it out of it. And like I said, do the right thing as much as possible. You're not perfect. You're going to make mistakes. But you can clearly see why Cali Muscle, Big Boy, and Wes Watson are teaming up. It's because, the top of that pyramid where you got all the other big guys, it's hard to compete. And so the days of just posting about, hey, I'm taking a pre-workout, kind of not working like it used to, guys. I hate to tell you. It's just not working that way anymore. You used to be able to have a sponsored athlete where you'd have supplementation and you'd have, apparel. And some folks, make some money here and there, whether they're competing or, they're given a stipend. Those days are over. Those numbers aren't working. 10,000 views on a video, you may never even get a sale. So you really have to think in perspective, unless that person's a really big name and they're pushing product. I mean, I'm talking cases of product. The money just isn't there. And so when you see these guys teaming up, like I said, for the 3rd time, that's why they're doing it. It's because, doing it on your own, virtually impossible these days. That's a foregone conclusion. If you're doing it, it's because you've already come for money. You don't need it. But trying to set up shop now, going to an expo and trying to make a name for yourself, I just don't see it happening. So you're going to see that from those type of people where they're going to cling to each other and try to make it out of that barrel that they're working out of, and they're going to do different gimmicks and things to do it. Hey, you know what? Do what you got to do, right? Whatever it takes. But you got to live with yourself at the end of the day, and it is what it is. So, you know, like I've always said, just you know, stay ride or die for yours. Keep that circle tight, and yep, absolutely do whatever it takes to be successful. But try to do a good turn while you're doing it, and don't try to do it in a dirty sense, because you know, getting there, anything that comes quick and easy usually never lasts. So that's something to consider, something to think about as you enjoy your weekend, as you enjoy the holidays coming up. Enjoy yourself, man. Life is short. So with that being said, guys, just want to get you a quick video. Shout out to Mac Truck. Shout out to John Bravo. I'm so glad those guys are still in the business, still doing things. Because without them, honestly, fitness would be entirely dead, and I would be very disinterested. So huge shout out to those two guys. I always tune into Mac's videos. He's always got something great to say. He always keeps it real. So huge shout out to Mac Truck. And like I said, with John Bravo, man, always making it entertaining. He's been a good force in the industry for quite some time, and he'll dabble and do some other things. But I've always appreciated John's cinema photography. It's always been on point. Always a good dude, and I appreciate his friendship as well. So, guys, again, keep on being ride or die for yours. Keep that circle nice and tight, and stay safe through the holidays, man. I hope you have a great time. And you know, it is what it is at this point. But you know, we got Donald Trump coming in the new year. Some may like it, some may not. But I've got great feelings for the upcoming new year and the years ahead. So hopefully great for business, hopefully great for you and your family, and we can all eat, be successful, and you know, raise our kids in a better world than we were brought up in. So with that being said, guys, I'm Big Rob. Thanks for tuning in.